Are you a physical therapist assistant looking for a remote job that pays the same, if not more, than your current clinical position? Well, I'm really excited because in today we will be diving into 6 different full-time career options that are remote for physical therapist assistants. But really quickly, if you're new here, my name is Dr. Emma Shapiro, and I am your alternative career coach. And so I'm really happy to have you in this channel. You can hit like and subscribe to get more amazing videos like this one. But without further ado, let's dive into how you can find your remote career that pays you the same, if not more, as a physical therapist assistant. Okay, so we will be diving into 6 different career routes, plus at the end, going into some entrepreneurial ideas for you also. So really quickly, according to Career Explorer, the average physical therapy assistant salary is around $69,000 a year. So that's what we are using to roughly base our comparative remote careers or non-clinical careers that pay the same, if not more. So, the very first career that I'm going to talk about is travel therapy recruiter. Now, you may not know what that means, but essentially, if you are a therapist that's willing to travel around the country doing 13-week or contract positions, then you need a recruiter to help you find these various positions around the world. A recruiter will help you talk with these different companies, they'll help coordinate the interview, they'll help coordinate the negotiation, they'll prepare the contract and have you sign the contract. Now, the really cool thing about being a remote therapy recruiter is that it's almost as if you get to be a therapy mentor. So I was a travel therapist for several years and I worked really closely with my therapy recruiter. And although she didn't mentor me on the clinical side, I feel like as a therapist, we could really help with the clinical questions that sometimes arise, but also just the career questions. So, as a traveler, it inspired me to try to mentor other travelers. And so I did that for several years. And it's a really big need that's really underserved. And you could fill that and be the most amazing recruiter ever because you are an experienced therapist. You know what it is, you know what different settings, to recommend for a therapist or not to recommend. You can help them with maybe their interview questions that they're nervous about, salary questions, just really those career questions that I feel like sometimes only a therapist or a therapist assistant can answer. And that's something that is going to make you stand out compared to other recruiters in the hiring and application process, but also in just keeping your travelers happy. Because if you can keep a traveler happy, then they'll stay with you as long as they're a traveler. So it's almost like guaranteed income if you can really keep these relationships. So that's a little bit about what a travel recruiter does and how you could stand out and why you would be good for a travel recruiter position. Now, you may be wondering, what are the requirements? How are you eligible for this position? And the requirements is really just a bachelor's. And even then, you don't even really need a bachelor's. If you are a physical therapist assistant and watching this, you can apply right now. You don't need to take any other schooling. You don't need anything else, no other certifications, nothing. You can apply for positions in this right now. So the requirements are very minimal. Now, you may be wondering, how do I find this job? Where do I go? So you can search travel therapy companies like Arias Medical, Comp Health, MAS Staffing. You can directly search that and then go to the career, tabs in those websites. But you can also just go to Indeed and search travel therapy recruiter. Now, I do want to tell you that these companies don't just do recruiting for travelers. They also have permanent and non-travel contract recruiters as well. So you can actually work in 3 different segments of the recruiting sphere. Now, you may be wondering, where do I do this? How do I do this? So this job is remote for most companies. Now, there may be a company here or there that's going to require you to still come in, but it's largely remote career. You can do all of this from your computer. And most of your duties would be such as posting jobs on social media, cold calling, connecting with potentially interested therapists, following up with previous people that have connected with you, and then just making sure that your travelers are happy and trying to secure maybe their next assignment. So it's largely a communication job. And so it's really, I think it's, great because it's non-physical, it's non-clinical, and it's remote. Now, here's the cool thing. You may be wondering, get to the pay, Emma, how much can I earn? So with traveling recruiting, it is a combination of salary and commission based. And so you could earn way more than your current salary if you were a good recruiter and if you worked really hard. In a lot of these positions, it really is up to your effort. But that's the nice thing, because in the therapy world, we can be the hardest working therapist and not get paid equally for that work. Well, on a commission-based job, you will be paid equally. So what will happen is that you'll get some sort of salary component, a base salary, and then you will get commission for each of your travelers that sign a travel job. Now, usually what happens is there's sort of tiers where the more travelers you get, the higher you get for a base commission and salary commission. So the more travelers means the more and more and more you'll make on both your base salary and in your commission. And also the longer you are with the company too, the better benefits and likely the better base salary you'll have as well. So this is an opportunity for you without any other skills needed to earn potentially $100,000 or more, and you will be an employee. You won't have to start a business or be an entrepreneur. Now, I do want to give you a couple cons or challenges with this career route. So it is really awesome, and I would love to do it one day. But a couple of cons is that, it is tedious, emailing, cold calling. You're getting a lot of people that don't answer their phone. You're going to get a lot of emails of people, not following up with you. So that can be a little bit of tediousness. So that can be frustrating. You may have to be available at different times of the day because you want to be a good recruiter and be there for those questions. So, you may have to take an evening call or a weekend call. But really those are the only main negatives is that. So overall, I give this a 2 thumbs up, and I encourage you to go check out travel therapy recruiting. Okay, so here is our next, and this isn't really in a particular order, but here's our next PT assistant job that pays equal, if not more, and that is being an assistive technology professional. So what assistive technology professionals do is they sort of look at the needs of people with disabilities and trying to figure out, what are some assistive technology needs that could help make, say, a school easier or someone's wheelchair, their home, and try to really make that environment much more suitable. The salary of this is more along the range of $50,000 to $60,000. So it's pretty equal to a PT assistant's current salary, but there is room to grow because in assistive technology, you are also performing a bit of sales. You're maybe selling wheelchairs, maybe selling wheelchair rims, ramps, other assistive technology, and equipment and accessories. And so you can have a combination of, once again, salary and commission in this sales position. So that is like a typical range, but you could excel that and do even better depending upon your location and your efforts. Now, the neat thing about this is that this could be something that you do on your own as a business or as an employee. So I really like the flexibility with becoming an assistive technology professional. And the nice thing about this is similar to recruiting and the other positions I'm going to mention, you don't really need any more schooling. All you have to do is take a test. And I heard that the test is quite challenging, but you do need to take a test to become officially an assistive technology professional. Now, a lot of people do this unofficially already in their roles, but if you do want to have, find employment in specific roles, then I would recommend you get that certification. And a couple cons for this, although this could be largely remote, every once in a while you will be having to maybe go in and see the child or the person with disabilities. So you may be having to do some driving and also some sales, which not everyone likes to do sales, even though I think as a therapist and therapy assistant, we are already selling. It's just a different mindset. Your goal is to give people the best in assistive technology, give people the best, life possible. And so, yes, you're selling them a wheelchair or a ramp, but you're really helping them achieve this freedom. And you'd be recommending that even if you didn't get a sales commission. Okay, going on to other types of sales jobs. So as a PT assistant, you can be not just an assistive technology professional, but you can be a sales professional trying to advocate and sell wheelchairs, walkers, other equipment like ramps, Medicare software, pretty much anything, pharmaceuticals. So there's a lot of different sales jobs out there within the therapy world and also outside of the therapy world. And often these sales positions are non-clinical and they're remote. For example, Newgate is a company that we work with. They are an amazing walking harness. They actually just hired, and you can go to thenewgate.com to see if they have any positions open. But they were looking for sales representatives, and they were really looking for therapists to be their sales representatives. Why? Because therapists and therapy assistants, we're best to sell to other therapists. And finally, I think companies are going to get that through their head that, we know the medical language, we know and can explain a medical device or medical software 10 times more than someone not in the medical field. So they're going to start choosing you a lot more for these positions than before. So where will you maybe find these positions? I would suggest, Indeed, Glassdoor, but the likelihood is that there's a lot of different sales positions out there. So you may want to start with trying to narrow down your search by maybe locally. Are there any companies you feel like you would be a good fit locally? Or do you know and have worked with, either at your current job or previous jobs, any sort of medical equipment or medical software that maybe you could search them and see if they have any current roles? In addition to sales, there are other digital marketing positions that aren't with sales, such as blogging, affiliate marketing, creating videos, podcasting, and all of these you can do as an employee or as your own, being your own business. So for example, MedBridge, physicaltherapy.com, they need people to help them blog. They need people to help them advocate for their software, for their continuing education classes. So I would check out different companies like that to see if they have other sales, digital marketing positions as well. And, you may be thinking to yourself, well, I'm not a digital marketer. How can I apply for these positions? Well, affiliate marketing is essentially another term for sales. So if you've used their software, then you're the perfect person to advocate for their software or for their equipment. And they can teach you all those other things. Now, if you've blogged on the side or have a podcast on the side, that is going to help you because that demonstrates some skills that you already have. But you can easily go on YouTube, do some research, start practicing, start trying to get on podcasts, start trying to help people for free in these different digital marketing services. And then that will really help you create a portfolio of your services. So when you go to try to apply for these positions, you have evidence already that you know what you're doing. Okay, we've got a couple more here. So next is teaching. So although teaching in schools as a physical therapy assistant may not always be remote, more and more you're moving to a hybrid model, which is a combination of classes that are done virtually and then inpatient handling skills. So this is a potential job that's alternative, that pays you similar, and could also be remote. Now, I couldn't find the exact salary for a teaching position, but I feel like it's probably going to be pretty similar. However, the challenge with finding teaching positions is, one, they're very rare. There's not a lot of PTA schools out there, so just the number of schools to choose from is less. But also, and this is just not just PTA schools, but PT schools, OT schools, other schools, they often aren't hiring full-time professors, they're hiring adjunct professors, meaning this likely isn't going to be a full-time job, but maybe one class you would teach once a quarter or once a year. And so although this is a great potential opportunity, it's not going to give you the consistent income and employment that maybe other opportunities would. But then again, hey, it's going to bring in some extra income, and maybe you could do this in the evening time. Okay, lastly, utilization reviewing is a unique job that, yes, you can do as an assistant, and it is largely remote, and it pays equal to maybe a little bit better. It's usually in the range of $70,000 to $90,000 a year for this position as a utilization reviewer. Now, you may be wondering, what is a utilization reviewer? Well, it's someone that essentially reviews charts and looks over the medical appropriateness and then either approves them for reimbursement or denies them for reimbursement. It could also be approving them for, say, a rehabilitation stay or not. It's largely remote. It is a typical 9 to 5 job, so it's really nice that it has those more standard hours. It's in your wheelhouse. You do documentation all the time. And this is essentially what it is you will be reviewing documentation to assess, is this appropriate documentation? You know, are they billing the appropriate minutes and time? Is this diagnosis appropriate? You know, are they still needing skilled care? And how is their progress? Have they been progressing? Have they plateaued, etc.? So all of that you already do. Now you're just going to do it in a different setting. And you may be wondering, what companies hire assistants? Well, MyNexus, New Motion, and Anthem are 3 companies that do hire utilization reviewers. Now, if you want more information on how you can do this as an assistant, we do have a utilization reviewer course that also includes CEU credits down below that will help you ace your interview and secure a UR position. Okay, everyone. Whew, that was a lot of information in a short amount of time, but hopefully you've realized that there are some amazing careers out there for you that can pay you equal, if not better. And these are alternative careers and also remote careers. So thank you so much. Go ahead and please like and subscribe if you want more videos. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, and I will see you in our next video.